It was a cloudy Tuesday afternoon in downtown Toronto. The streets were still wet from the morning rain, and the sky promised another drizzle. Jack Thompson, a 32-year-old IT consultant, was walking briskly toward Union Station. He had just wrapped up a client meeting and hoped to catch the 4:10 train back home to Mississauga as he passed by Front Street. Weaving through the usual stream of office workers and tourists, Jack noticed a small commotion near the corner. A woman, probably in her late 60s, was struggling with two large shopping bags and a worn-out suitcase that had clearly seen better days. Her gray hair was pulled into a loose bun, and her coat looked heavy and water-spotted. Most people passed, her eyes glued to their phones or minds occupied by the rush of city life. But Jack stopped. "Are you all right, ma'am?" he asked gently. She looked up, startled, clearly not used to strangers offering help. "Oh, I'm fine, dear. It's just a bit much for me to carry, that's all." Jack smiled. "Let me give you a hand. Where are you headed?" She hesitated for a moment before replying, "Just a few blocks down, to the shelter on Richmond Street." Jack looked at his watch. Helping her might mean missing his train. But something about her, the tiredness in her eyes, the weight she was clearly carrying both physically and emotionally, made him pause. "It's no trouble," he said, already picking up the heavier bag. "Let's go." As they began walking, the woman introduced herself as Margaret, but asked Jack to call her Maggie. She explained that she had come into the city from a nearby town to sort out some papers at an assistant's office. But delays meant she had to spend the night in Toronto, and her ride back home wouldn't come until tomorrow. "My back isn't what it used to be," Maggie chuckled softly. These old bones weren't made for city sidewalks and rolling luggage. Jack laughed, shifting the bag to his other hand. "Well, lucky for you, I just finished a workout with a dumbbell that was less heavy than this." As they walked, Jack learned that Maggie was a retired schoolteacher. She'd spent over 30 years teaching in a small town outside Hamilton, loved children, and had been widowed 10 years earlier. "I always believed in kindness," she said. "Taught my students that being kind was more important than being smart." Jack nodded, genuinely interested. "My third-grade teacher used to say the same thing. I never forgot her." Maggie smiled warmly. "Then maybe she and I would have been good friends." They finally reached the modest brick building that served as a temporary shelter. A volunteer at the front desk greeted Maggie with familiarity, then looked at Jack with surprise. "First time I've seen someone help carry those bags who wasn't already working here." The volunteer said, "That was kind of you." Jack shrugged. It felt like the right thing to do. Maggie turned to him, her eyes a little glossy now. "Most people walked by like I was invisible, but not you." "Thank you, Jack. You reminded me that decency still exists." Jack was quiet for a second. "I think we all just need reminders sometimes about each other." Before he left, Maggie reached into one of her bags and pulled out a small notebook. It was worn but clean, filled with handwritten notes and quotes. "I call this my kindness journal," she said. "It helped me through some lonely days. I want you to have it." Jack protested. "I can't take this. This is yours, okay?" insisted, gently pressing it into his hand. "Then maybe one day you'll pass it on too." As Jack walked back toward the station, he opened the notebook and flipped through its pages. One quote caught his eye. "The smallest act of kindness is worth more than the grandest intention." Oscar Wilde. He missed his train that day, but somehow he felt he had arrived exactly where he needed to be. It had been 3 weeks since Jack met Maggie, the elderly woman with the heavy bags and the even heavier heart. The small encounter had changed something in him. Her kindness journal now rested on his nightstand, and each night before bed, Jack read a quote or a story from it. Some pages were filled with simple reminders: smile at a stranger, write a thank you note, or give without expecting, while others told short tales of students Maggie had taught, people she had helped, and even times when kindness had been returned to her. One evening, as Jack flipped to a random page, he saw a note scrawled in Maggie's neat but shaky handwriting. "If I've learned anything, it's this: kindness multiplies. One act can become 100 if passed forward." That stuck with him. The next day, while grabbing coffee at a local cafe, Jack noticed a young woman searching her bag at the counter. Her cheeks flushed red, and she looked embarrassed. "I'm so sorry," she said to the barista. "I thought I had my wallet." The barista, clearly overworked, sighed. "No worries, but I have a line here. You can come back when you find it." Without hesitation, Jack stepped up. "Add hers to my bill," he said casually. The woman turned, surprised. "Oh, I can't let you." "It's all right," Jack smiled. "Just pay it forward one day." Tears welled up in her eyes as she whispered, "Thank you." That simple act sparked something inside Jack. Over the next few days, he started noticing opportunities everywhere, helping a lost tourist find their way in the subway, holding the door for a mother juggling twins and a stroller, offering his umbrella to a soaked teenager waiting for the bus. Each time, the words in the journal echoed in his mind. One act can become 100 if passed forward. One rainy Sunday, Jack sat down with a fresh notebook. He titled it on the first page. The Kindness Journal Volume IIHE filled the first few pages with his own stories and quotes, inspired by Maggie's original. Then he brought it to his local library, asking the front desk attendant if he could leave it on the community board. He attached a note: "Add your story, then pass it on." A week later, Jack returned to find 3 more entries inside. One was from a college student who'd bought groceries for her elderly neighbor. Another from a man who'd picked up trash at the park with his kids. The third, from a teenager, described how she had helped her younger brother through a panic attack. Jack was amazed. The ripple had begun. He started leaving these journals at cafes, clinics, even bus stops, each time with the same message: "Add your story, then pass it on." One evening, while sorting through work emails, Jack received a message from an unknown sender. The subject line read, "You helped my mom curious." He opened it. "Dear Jack, my name is Claire. I'm Maggie's daughter. She told me about you, the kind man who helped her with her bags a few weeks ago in Toronto. My mom talked about you like you were an angel who appeared when she needed it most. She told me she gave you her journal. That journal kept her strong after Dad passed away. It meant the world to her. I just wanted you to know. She passed away peacefully last night in her sleep. She was happy. She said her last few weeks had felt like a gift, because someone reminded her that kindness still lives in the world. Thank you for giving my mom that gift." Warmly, Claire. Jack sat still for a long time. Reading the message again and again, Maggie was gone, but her spirit, the kindness she taught, the journal she kept, was more alive than ever. The next weekend, Jack traveled to Hamilton and visited the small school Maggie had once taught at. He spoke with the principal, shared Maggie's story, and donated copies of the now expanding Kindness Journal to the students. "Let the kids write in them," he said. "Share stories. Start young." By spring, Jack's idea had spread. Local news picked it up. Social media users started their own journals. A small publishing company even approached him to turn Maggie's original journal into a published collection with proceeds going to support shelters and education programs for the elderly. And through it all, Jack remained humble. He didn't do it for recognition. He did it because Maggie had reminded him of something simple, something people forget in the noise and rush of modern life: that kindness is free, powerful, and contagious. Final page of the journal Jack wrote. To anyone reading this, you don't need to save the world. Just help someone carry their bags whatever those bags may be. Because the smallest act of kindness can change someone's entire day. Maybe even their life, like it did for me.